Welcome to Heart to Talk, the podcast. I am the host and creator, Teresa Caesar. My intention for this podcast is to deliver to you wisdom, inspiration, and consciousness through solo episodes and conversations amongst insightful people. It is my greatest honor to bring to you talks that come from the heart. Amazing souls, welcome to this very special episode of Heart to Talk podcast. If you've been on this journey with me, welcome back. I have been off the mic for the whole month of July, taking a powerful break to recharge, travel, so that I can come back re-energized. And if you're new here, you arrived at the perfect time. I'm so excited you're here. This season of Heart to Talk podcast is a devotion to owning our authentic selves, our true stories, our soul signatures, while still reaching for the higher version of who we're becoming. It's all about identity, community, and legacy. Not just the big moments like the book that we write or the stage we're standing on, or even the titles that we carry, but the everyday legacy of how we show up and make people feel out into the world. From the stranger at the supermarket to the team you lead in your company, your classroom, your school, or organization, to your family, and ultimately how you lead yourself. All of this is your story. All of this is your brand and your legacy. I believe each one of us carries a unique soul signature, I call it, a one-of-a-kind light that only you can radiate. It's the way your gifts, your talents, your experiences, and even your wounds weave together and harmonize with your light into something completely singular. No one else can replicate it. No one else can shine exactly the way you do. And that light is meant to be seen and shared. This season is about being obedient to that call in our hearts and sharing real stories, lessons, and wisdom from people who are living it. That's why I'm so excited to open up this season of the podcast with my dear, amazing, beautiful friend, Jeannine Sharp Mason. We're going to pivot into her story, her brand, her impact in just a minute. But first, I have to share a personal story about my own identity and brand because it's directly connected to what this season is literally all about. Recently, I had the honor of doing an As You Are photo session with my incredible friend and today's episode sponsor, Kimberly Wheatwort Photography. For a long time, I'd been craving a truly authentic way to put my images out into the world, not just polished brand images or what everyone else is doing, but visuals that actually carried my story, my message, my essence, and my soul signature. Kimberly's As You Are sessions are built on one radical idea. You don't need to change anything about yourself to be worthy of being seen. You don't need to pose. You need to be caught being real. No editing, no curating, no performing, just you reflected back in truth and light. There's no right or wrong in this experience, only the space to feel alive, free, and safe to be just as you are. So we went out to Gates Pass to shoot my As You Are session during Tucson's monsoon season in June and had the most magical shoot ever. I came as I am. I did my own hair, my own makeup. I used the outfits that were already in my closet. So the rain came out. My natural girls came out as well. And in that moment, I realized this is the story I want my brand and my life to tell. Surrendered, present, willing to be seen as I am, honoring who I've been and who I'm becoming. If you're craving something different, not standard headshots, not trying to look like everyone else, if you want your images to tell the real story of who you are, your mission, and who you're becoming, I invite you to explore an As You Are session with Kimberly Wheatwort. You can learn more and book at kimberlywheatwort.com/. The link will be in the show notes. And now let's talk about branding, identity, story, impact with the woman who lives this work every single day. Friends, So excited to bring to you Jeannine Sharp Mason. Jeannine is a Tucson native and proud University of Arizona graduate, a former Wildcat volleyball letter winner who learned early what it means to lead, compete, and show up as a team. She is the founder and principal of J9 Brandworks, a creative consultancy specializing in brand identity, strategic partnerships, and event production. Her work helps organizations tell their stories with clarity and purpose across nonprofit, sports, entertainment, and corporate sectors. She previously served as a creative director at a leading advertising agency developing high-profile campaigns for college athletics and tourism initiatives. She later led global marketing for a multi-billion-dollar medical corporation, overseeing a full-scale rebrand and securing major league sports partnerships across NFL, MLB, NHL. Beyond the corporate and creative worlds, Jeannine is a committed advocate for Southern Arizona, and she has helped raise more than $2 million for local causes. From global brand campaigns and major league partnerships to community-driven philanthropy and creative mentorship, Jeannine builds meaningful connections that elevate stories, spark impact, and leave a lasting legacy locally and beyond. I learned so much in this episode, things I'd never considered about branding and storytelling. And I know that you're also going to love it and learn so much. Friends, let's dive into this beautiful conversation with the incredible Jeannine Sharp Mason. I'm so happy to have you back on, girl.
Oh, thank you, Teresa. I'm so proud and privileged to be here with you today. Thank you so much.
I am excited to highlight you, your journey, your brand, and all the things. So, that being said, if you can just tell this audience who you are, what you do, your business, and your mission.
My name is Jeannine Sharp Mason. I am a native Tucsonan, born and raised here. I'm a graduate of the University of Arizona, proud Wildcat. I'm a former Division I athlete. I played volleyball at Arizona a very long time ago. And then about a year ago, I started my boutique creative consultancy called J9 Brandworks. And it's a culmination of kind of all of my experiences and career paths to kind of come to this new activity and brand that I've launched. And so I'm very excited about where it's going. And it's just been such a wonderful experience. But what J9 Brandworks does is it builds your brand identity, which is so many parts of building a brand, as most people know these days. But focusing on that, also working on strategic partnerships and how we elevate your brand with the right partners, and also events that elevate your brand as well. So I've been fortunate to produce some of those too throughout my career. I kind of took some time to decide, do I want to stay in the corporate sector or do I want to go off on my own? And I spent a lot of time talking with former colleagues, mentors, and friends to kind of determine which path I wanted to go on. The best advice I got from someone is don't do anything for a while. Take some time and decide what you really want to do. And I did. It was hard, but I did. And it kind of came to me naturally just from talking to people and like, you've got this, like, you have to just do this for yourself. And so it just naturally started. People started coming to me and asking me to work with them and just slowly just started to build. And it's taken off on its own. And I've had the opportunity to work with so many different segments in different industries, which is really fun for a creative person to not just work in one space, but to kind of learn and evolve in some different areas. I've worked in finance, nonprofit, technology, education, even the food service industry. So just really great opportunity for me to be also able to stay home. I spent a lot of time on airplanes last few years. And so having a change and being a little more grounded has been wonderful for me.
I love it. I love that you said you took a little break because we do have the tendency, right, to be like, okay, I have downtime.
Yes,
This
that
is
was hard.
uncomfortable. Then how did experience shape who you are as an entrepreneur and with your brand, what you did
Oh, wow.
before?
Going into the corporate sector a little over 10 years ago was an amazing opportunity for me that came to me. I was approached by a former friend and colleague who worked for this company and asked me to come to work for them. And it was at a time in my life where I was going through significant changes. I was going through a divorce. I had moved and I'm really not sure where I was going to go next. And this kind of just, I always tell him, you were my angel. You just like came and he saw something in me at the time that I hadn't seen in myself at that moment. And so that was just instrumental in changing the course of my life at that point. And giving me an opportunity to one, yeah, dig into my talents again and to meet so many new people and travel the world and work at a very, very high level has been just extraordinary. And understanding that I had the experience and the talent to do it, but then to continue to grow. And probably one of the bigger things I learned in that experience was working with a team, building a great team. I feel like I was able to surround myself with really good people, and I pride myself in being able to tap into talent and find the right people to support the work I do. Collaboration is a big, big part of what I do and making everybody feel like they're a part of the journey. That gave me that opportunity. And so just all of that experience, also worked through a very hard time during COVID. So lots of challenges there, as everybody knows. And the company I worked for was at the forefront of that. We actually developed diagnostics for COVID. So launching products in that space during that time at a very fast pace. I learned a lot. So just taking all of that expertise and knowledge and experience has really been an eye opener for me. I didn't even realize how much I'd learned until I started this venture on my own and taking all that experience. And every day I'm like, oh, I got that. Oh, I got that. It just is coming natural. And it's very fun to see that come to life.
Yeah, that's what's so exciting. People hear a lot of other branding companies out there, and then now we have AI, but there's nothing like the creative person behind there with the experience. And I just remember when I first had met you through our business networking group, Key Group, and you walked in and it was like post COVID.
Yeah.
And all the incredible things you were doing as far as, like, marketing and advertising, I've never seen anything to that scale. Like you said, high level. Can you share a little bit about it? Because 'Cause I've never seen anything like it, like the teams you were working with, the travel. I'm like, "I wanna live that life."
I got to work. Part of what I did was sports partnerships with major league sports teams. So promoting our brand again through those strategic partnerships, not just with major league sports teams, but also with philanthropic organizations as well. And so building those partnerships to amplify the brand was a big part of what I did. And so, yes, I had a lot of fun going to a lot of NFL football games and Major League Baseball games and hockey games and Super Bowls and all of that as part of my job. And being a former athlete and my family, my kids are all athletes. I mean, it was right up my alley. I loved it. I could speak their language, but also was a good creative partner. And so that was incredibly fun. And I had a very large marketing budget to work with for a long time. So yeah, being able to exercise that and work with some very high level creative firms and bring them along from, Madison Avenue in New York City. And that was great to partner with them. And I made some very good friends because of those partnerships, which was really nice. But I think the biggest part about I think what differentiates me and what I've learned too from this process is, again, it's storytelling, and brand is always about telling a story in so many ways, not just your logo. Your logo doesn't just tell your story, it's how you show up, it's how you answer the phone, it's what you wear, it's how you talk, it's everything. And so really being able to dive deeply into the partners that I work with and learn about them is a very important part of my process, and learning about what motivates you, who you are, what's your background, what's your mission, what are your core values. All of that needs to come to life through your brand. Recently, I'm working with a client and went to her home because her home said so much about who she is and how she comes to life, and took so many things just from being in her home, even though it's not her business. But all those things are important in the process and understanding how you bring someone's brand to life. So,
I
yeah.
love that. So how did you come up with the name J9 Brand?
Well,
Yeah,
that's interesting. And actually, if you go to my website, I do have a little blog on my site that tells the story
brand.
about J9 Brandworks and the name J9. So J9 is my nickname. It's been my nickname since I was a kid, short for Jeannine, which Jean 9, last four letters in my name are 9. So everybody started calling me J9. So then when the advent of social media and email came about, I know most people don't remember that, my first handle was J9 and always has been. All of my emails, my social media handles have always been J9. And as I was starting to name my business, people are like, "Oh, you should name it Sharp or this or that." And I said, it's funny being a woman, your name changes sometimes throughout the course of your life, and you don't think about that when you're young and you're first getting married or whatever, but your last name can change. The one thing that doesn't change is my first name, and my nickname has always been there. So I tied into that, and I thought it was just kind of fun because it's the one part of me that's always been there. And the interesting part of looking into my name was learning how many other J9s are out there. There's like a whole community of us Jeannines that go by J9. So, looking into building my brand name and all that and finding out, oh my gosh, look at all these J9s that are out there. There's a lot of them. And so that's been kind of
That is
fun. It's connecting
crazy.
with other J9s in the world. So,
Yeah, that's so crazy. I would have never known, right? Oh my gosh,
yeah.
was it hard to get the trademark and all of that?
And there was a lot of people that had that J9 consultancy or J9
Okay.
this, so that was already taken, but J9 Brandworks wasn't, and so I was able to capture that, and that really does tell what I do, it's all the things that go around building your brand and making it work, and so
Yeah, and I love that you're the
mhm,
walking embodiment of what you do for others. Your story is in it, the J9, and then I love
mhm.
your logo, and just like you said, the polished appeal, like, that first impression is everything, and it does matter, and just you, the way you show up, even when you're at home chilling, you look so good all the time.
I
And
never
your
leave home
website and just
without my mascara
yes,
that
your
you
Heart
gave
Estee
me.
Lauder mascara. It's
It's
our
the first
favorite.
thing I put on every day.
It is so good. I just love it, and I'm just so proud of you. It's just takes such courage and confidence to go out and build something, and but the beautiful thing, you were, like, equipped along the way. You had this opportunity to work in the corporate world. All of that has prepared you, and then here you are in this Tucson community where you have everyone around you that might need
Oh,
you
yeah.
or can refer you, so it's just so beautiful. And so that being said, those listening who are like, "Wow, I'm really interested in my personal brand." Do you work with individuals to large organizations, corporate?
Oh,
Who's
yeah.
your ideal client?
Everybody. Everybody. So whether it's a business you're branding or a product you're branding or an individual, I've been doing a lot of work with athletes and talking to athletes about building their personal brand. I'm actually putting together a program where athletes can come and work with me, and there's different tiers of helping them identify and build their personal brand in the space of NIL. And I know there's a lot of people out there doing it, but I feel like there's part of me that's uniquely fit to it because of my experience being a student athlete, as well as my children being student athletes and having gone through that at different phases of time and the changes in the college landscape, and being able to take even my experience working with major league sports teams and bringing that back into this experience and helping them understand what really works. And again, digging into their core, who they are as an individual, and really understanding what makes you unique and sets you apart from everybody else, and helping these kids understand that is what's important. So yeah, I've been working a lot on that as well. And but yeah, working at every level, like you said, it's Tucson, but I've worked with clients around the country, and I hope to continue to do more of that. That's been a lot of fun. So
That is seriously amazing. What
mhm.
would you say is your biggest mission?
My tag is creativity with clarity. So again, it's like you can't be creative until you're really clear about who you are and what story you're trying to tell. And that part of my process is what is so important. I mean, every part of building a brand tells a story, from the typography, there's a choice and there's a story behind it, to every single color in your palette has a story behind it. I've done a palette for a local catering company, and every single color in that palette comes from a very specific ingredient that they use in their recipes, whether it's saffron or parsley or whatever. And so it means something to them, and they can tell a story around it. So all of that is super important. So it's that clarity and that comes with being able to be creative is what's so important to me.
I love that you talked about color. It, like, has an energy to it. It could change just how you're received, perceived, all of that from the outside world.
Your brand is not just your logo. It goes back to that idea of it's every touch point that a client has with you and your email signature, even the font you use on your email. I think about all of that. And when I deliver that to a client, we would like literally go through everything. I'm working with another client right now. We're working on sonic branding and creating music because music is very influential in their world. And even though that's not what they do, but how do we bring that in as part of their brand? Because it does tell a story. So to everything you wear and you show up and the picking an outfit that is your brand colors or aligns with your brand colors is so important. So it's just creating consistency is really key and being consistent about it. And again, it's not looking at your competitors and trying to match what they're doing, which you find so many people are trying to do all the time. But again, identifying what is unique about yourself.
I just love that so much. So, what are your top 3 tips to listeners when it comes to branding and marketing?
The tips are clarity before creativity. So, really digging in and doing the work and the discovery process to understand who you are, what motivates you, and how you set yourself apart from other people. That's the first step. And then again, I understanding that it's not just your logo that we're delivering. And clients are always so surprised when they see all of the things that I deliver on their behalf and how much meaning it has behind it. They think, oh, just give me a logo. People are so used to just going on Canva and creating a logo, and that's not what it's all about. There's so much more. You want to be able to use it, you want it to be simple. That's super important to me too, something that's usable. So that kind of goes into the third pillar is like giving you something you can actually use. And so understanding because so many people have different levels of sophistication in how they execute their brand. They may be doing it themselves on Canva. They may have a marketing team in-house or so understanding what is it they're using and so they have success once I hand it off is really important and giving them a one-stop shop to come and get all the tools they need. I think that that's something that me and my team excel at is making sure that they have success beyond us. I don't want to hand
I
stuff off and then have them fail. I want them to continue to grow on their own and have confidence using the tools that we've given them.
I love it. Such good tips. Okay, and I'm, like, looking at your colors. It's a purple. Did you call it purple and black? Is there a story behind your
Well,
colors
there's
for your brand?
it's violet
It's
and
violet. Okay.
it's yes,
Violet
but
and black.
there is a story behind the violet. It actually is a color that inspired me many years ago. My daughter, when she was 12, was diagnosed with cancer, and that was such a pivotal part in my life, so life-changing to have any child who's sick, and she was diagnosed with brain cancer at age 12. She went through, surgery, treatment, rehab for a couple years. She's doing great today. She's 29 today. But at that time, purple was our color. It's like the community around us. We lived in California at the time. They rallied around us, and that was the color supporting her and her path. And so everybody made these violet bracelets, and everyone in town had them. In fact, here's a story. At the time, Lady Gaga had just come out and was huge at the time, and she had an opportunity to meet her and she gave Lady Gaga one of the bracelets, and she ended up wearing it in her tour, so we could see pictures of her with this purple bracelet on, and so that color has always resonated with me, and, people look back I don't look back on that time as being something I wanna forget. It was incredibly amazing. I learned so much from that point in my life. That's really where that color kinda resonated from, and when I see it, it just brings me joy, brings me promise, brings me knowing that things are always gonna be okay when I see that color. So that's a really important color to me.
Wow, I just love that you told me the backstory behind the colors. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, yeah, and there's others that are really kind of leaning towards being in the Southwest, I love blues. I have, like, kind of a dusty blues in my palette, as well as a soft kinda terracotta color, which is so much the desert,
I love
and being in Tucson is absolutely my home. It took me a while to realize that, and I had to go through my process of being gone, coming back, and thinking, "Do I need to leave?" And then a few years ago, I was like, "Nope, I'm staying. I love it here. I have an incredible network, an incredible community around me of friends and family to support me, and why would I ever wanna leave?" And so those colors really ground me in being here in the desert Southwest.
I love that so much. I know you're involved in a few local
Oh, yeah.
organizations. Can you tell us about your involvement with the community?
After going through the journey with my daughter My focus has been on any kind of children's health initiatives and also empowering women. So those two things are where I really like to focus my efforts. So I've been serving on the board of the Steele Children's Research Center here in Tucson at the University of Arizona now for a little over 10 years. And if people don't know, Steele Children's Research Center is one of the pinnacle research centers for children's health in the nation. And we've been blessed to have incredible leadership and doctors here and scientists working on mostly looking into children's microbiome and autoimmune diseases and also cancer research. And so that's been important for me to be a part of that and fundraising there. I also serve on the board of the American Heart Association for Southern Arizona and primarily focused on the Go Red campaign for women and bringing awareness to heart disease and the impact on women's health. Then that flowed into starting actually the STEM initiative here in Tucson to bring the careers in the STEM industry to young high school age children here in Tucson and introduce them to those careers because I was fortunate to be in that career for the last 10 years. And so helping these young kids understand the possibilities for them is amazing. So I've been a part of that project as well. And then most recently, I joined the board of the Arizona Diaper Bank. I was asked to chair Dancing with Our Stars. I know I was on here talking about that before. And again, that's an agency here that helps so many families and children, obviously, and young women who need help. And so being a part of those three organizations is really important to me.
I love your why and how intentional you are. How can these listeners get in touch with you? What's the best way for them to connect, hire you, even maybe, support any of the organizations that you're involved with as well?
You can reach me on my website, J9Brandworks.com. Lots of places there to connect and start a conversation. You can also email me at hello@J9Brandworks.com. You can follow me on social media at J9 Brandworks, Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. All of those ways are ways you can reach out to me, or if you see me around town, just say hi.
So anyone listening,
Yes.
go visit the show notes, click, and then you can be connected to Jeannine. And any announcements or any other specific things you want to mention before we pivot to those closing questions? I want to make sure I covered everything and anything.
Gosh, you've already covered so much. I know there's one project I'm working on here in Tucson right now. I've been fortunate enough to be connected with, and I am Catholic, but I've been doing a lot of work for the diocese, the Catholic diocese here in town. And it started with a rebrand of Newman Center on the U of A
I love
campus, St. Thomas More Catholic Newman Center. So working with Father John Paul there and helping them elevate their brand and kind of take it to the next level. People think a church and a brand. Well, yeah, church has a brand too, and they needed to bring it together in light of their big 100-year celebration, which they're celebrating right now. And they're doing a big development push. And so working with them to build that and their 100-year mark was great. And then from there, that led me to the St. Augustine High School out on the east side. So I just did a rebrand of the school, and they're in a very historic building out on the east side of town. So taking in that architecture into the mark that we created, and also redesigning their school mascot, which was really, really fun. So I got to work with the kids there at St. Augustine and meet with them to hear what they wanted and what they wanted to see and what their school mascot looked like. And that was just so rewarding. That whole process was just incredible. And so that has now led to working with the bishop and a redesign of St. Augustine Cathedral downtown. And so that has been just an amazing process. I've learned so much about the history of our cathedral, and it's just been really, really amazing to have this opportunity to work with the diocese. And I'm super excited to unveil the new brand here in the coming months. So that's been a really fun project. And then I have a couple other things in the works I can't divulge publicly, but some really big things coming here in the next few months as well.
Wow, congratulations. That's
Yes.
so exciting. I'm actually,
Mhm.
so excited. We're gonna have, a watch party of when all of their brands launch.
I've hired a couple people and we're building out my portfolio so you can actually see the work that's been accomplished. So we're building that on the website so you can actually go see the study and the case study and the story behind those brands as well as there.
That is seriously so
Mhm.
exciting. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pivot to the closing questions.
Okay.
Janine, the first one, because I've gotta ask, what is your favorite affirmation?
There's so many, and I have your affirmation cards, and they're so incredible. But right now, I would say for today, my affirmation is I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. And it took a long time for me to accept that. But every day I wake up and I am so happy to be where I am. And that is something that really warms my heart. And once I accepted that, it's changed everything for me.
I got goosebumps and I could almost cry. I just love that. The second question is, what is your favorite hobby or thing to do when you're not busy working or traveling?
My favorite thing to do is just get outside. I mean, we live in one of the most beautiful places, I think, in the world. And so I just look at any opportunity to be out in nature, whether it's hiking. I love Sabino Canyon. Sabino Canyon's been a part of my life since I was young. And so any opportunity to get up there, especially after a big rainstorm, brings me such joy. And then golfing. I took up golfing about 6 years ago with my son, who's an incredible golfer. And he taught me the game. And so I've been doing that a lot, which has been so much fun. Because again, you get to be outdoors, you get to be with your people you love, and being active and competitive. It just brings all of that together. And so I do love playing golf as well.
Okay, number three, when you think about the woman you are becoming and are, what is one belief you had to let go to
Oh,
get
yeah,
here?
that's a good one. And this goes back to when my daughter was ill. And it's uh, the fear of accepting help is somehow that's a weakness and asking for help when you need it. And that was the point in time when my daughter was sick, is when you're in the midst of something really big and terrifying, you quickly realize that you can't do it all on your own. And so when you finally let people in and allow them to help you, there's this incredible healing process that comes from that. But the benefit, the fringe benefit of that is how much you allow others to evolve and grow and heal when you allow people to help you. And so that came into play when I was working and leading a team at my last job and just really being able to delegate, allow people to do things, allow them to help you, to allow yourself to learn from them has been an incredible lesson. And again, it came back when I started J9 Brandworks and tapping into my community and my networking group and going to them and saying, "Hey, how do I do this?" They inspired me to take the leap, but they also helped me with every little step, like how to start a business, opening your bank account. Every little step was so important, and asking people, I would sit down and just say, "Hey, tell me what I need to do." That has been a huge shift in my mindset in the last, 15 years, and learning that is great. So always be able to ask for help. Don't be afraid.
I love that. That is seriously
Yeah.
the best belief change I've ever heard. That's so
Mhm.
good. I mean, I could relate. Like sometimes I'm like, I just want to figure it myself or do it all myself. I can do it
That's what
all
we do as
myself
women.
better. Yeah. So good,
Yeah.
Jeannine. And the last question. In this season of your life, do you feel like you're living the life of your dreams and fully stepping in to your potential?
I'm so blessed to be doing what I've always wanted to do. Even from the time I was in high school, I identified that I wanted to be an artist and be creative. And so being able to continue to be that person 40 years later is amazing. And I think about that all the time. I'm really lucky. I knew what I wanted to do and I've been able to do it throughout my entire life is tremendous. I think also I feel like I'm definitely stepping into my potential and I'm learning every day. There's just so much more I'm capable of. And believing that, I had an incredible meeting yesterday that just I went into it going, "Oh gosh, I hope I do this well." And I did, and it was just so empowering to see that in myself. And so it's been really incredible at this point in life and identifying all the things that have happened up to this point to make me who I am today. It's really a culmination of all of those experiences, good and bad, and just knowing, yeah, you're gonna have bad. I think when you say dreams, I kinda always am a little scared of that word because sometimes that limits you. What I found, if I
Mm.
kind of thought, "Here's what I wanna be," I've always found there's more that I didn't even realize was there. And so I don't try to limit myself with saying, "This is what I want and this is what I'm striving for," because sometimes it's a lot more than that. So don't limit yourself by necessarily saying, "This is all I want," because there's more out there that you don't even realize is there for you along the way.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Please download, rate, subscribe, and share this podcast. Also, be sure to visit my website at teresacaesar.com to check out my inspirational merch, connect to my social accounts, and much more. May you continue to be filled with wisdom, inspiration, and consciousness. Otherwise, friends, I will be back in 2 weeks for another episode of Heart to Talk.